for iPhone X sales weighed on the top stock averages. The Dow fell 7 points, cutting losses in the last hour. NASDAQ down 23 and the S&P 500 lost 2. Shares of pharmaceutical companies Mallinckrodt and Sucampo were higher. Mallinckrodt is buying Sucampo for about $840 million. Sucampo makes the constipation drug Amitiza. Garmin has a new activity tracker called the Vivo Fit 4. It has an always-on color display, is pairable with a smartphone, and has a battery which lasts more than a year without charging. Cost online $79.99. There could be higher airfares or fees in your futures. Airlines now paying more for fuel, labor, and maintenance. Stephanie Shelton, CNBC.
That's the sound of your in-law's cat perched over your bed at 3 a.m. You wanted to save money this holiday, so you settled for their house. Now you're staring into the eyes of pure evil. If you booked a hotel on Priceline, you could have saved up to 60%. That's up to $120 a night. Plus, you'd be in your own comfortable cat-free room. Save up to 60% on hotels when you book on Priceline, and get the deals you won't find anywhere else.
Express deals are different. Exact hotel shown only after booking.
2018 is an opportunity to grow your business with top talent. But how do you find it? ZipRecruiter. One click posts your job to over 100 job boards. Then, smart matching technology instantly alerts quality candidates about your job. No wonder 80% of employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate through the site in just one day. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire.
To try ZipRecruiter for free, just go to ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
NBC News Radio, I'm Brian Shook. President Trump is busy on Twitter while he spends the holidays in Florida. Tom Roberts talks about what he's been up to.
Trump tweeted a Tuesday segment from Fox and Friends that claimed the so-called Russian dossier on the president is bogus. He then added that the Clinton campaign and DNC funded dossier. FBI cannot, after all of this time, verify claims in dossier of Russia-Trump collusion. FBI tainted. He closed tweeting that they used this crooked Hillary pile of garbage as the basis for going after the Trump campaign. Tom Roberts, NBC News Radio.
Election officials in Virginia are considering a request to delay Wednesday's scheduled drawing to decide a seat in the House of Delegates. Democrat Shelley Simons asked for the last-minute delay to allow time for further review of the tied ballot in her race against Republican David Yancey. The State Board of Elections is set to meet in Richmond tomorrow morning to hold a random drawing to break the tie. Big Apple's strap hangers are being impacted by major service changes. Many riders were caught off guard when they went into effect this morning.
It's a surprise, and then we had no idea about it, no any inform, and then nothing about it, so we didn't know.
Service on the M line is suspended except for shuttle trains, and E trains are running on the F line from Jackson Heights, Roosevelt Avenue to West 4th Street. It's all part of an ambitious MTA overhaul of the 53rd Street East River Tunnel. Several cities are suing the Defense Department over a gun loophole that allowed the Texas church shooter to buy his guns. San Francisco, New York City, and Philadelphia filed a lawsuit alleging that the DOD had failed many times to advise the FBI about former servicemen who are prohibited from buying firearms. The lawsuit says the DOD's failure to report servicemen convicted of crimes while in the military or dishonorably discharged has led to tragedies such as the November 5th shooting in Sutherland Springs, Texas, carried out by a dishonorably discharged Air Force member. You're listening to the latest from NBC News Radio.
What if I told you you'd never have to make a house payment again? What if you could pay off much-needed home repairs and even create an income stream based on the value of your home? If you're 62 years old or older, you could be eligible for a reverse mortgage. Call Tim Harrison and find out if a reverse mortgage is right for you. Call Tim at 800-566-2475. That's 800-566-2475. Tim Harrison, branch manager, NMLS number 170960. Broadview Mortgage Corporation is licensed by the Department of Business Oversight under the California Residential Mortgage Lending Act. License number 170952. Registered with the Nationwide Mortgage Licensing System and registry number 813B544. Broadview Mortgage, equal housing lender. Remember, if you never want to make a house payment again, except for property taxes, maintenance, and insurance, that's 800-566-2475. That's 800-566-2475.
You've tuned in to KCAA, the station that leaves no listener behind. Welcome to Smart Health Talk with your host, Elaine McFadden.
Take a walk on the wild side. Will the birds and the bees survive? Right before me, my newfound hippie side. Once ignored these conspiracies online. Out the window, visions of the earth. Sign me up now, make sure you use your smart. Take a walk on the wild side. Will the birds and the bees survive? Would your children lie to see Mother Nature sigh?
Welcome to Smart Health Talk with your host, Elaine McFadden.
Welcome to Smart Health Talk radio show. And yes, I'm your host, Elaine McFadden, and this is Smart Health Talk radio show where we get down. That's right. We get down to the truth, the nitty gritty, the sometimes dirty, messy truth. And we're going to go through a lot of dirt today. I tell you, we're going to get down to some nitty gritty, some good things and some not so good things. But if you've ever turned into Smart Health Talk before, and we'd like to first of all welcome back our regular listeners. Thank you so much for tuning in, everyone. We really appreciate you listening to Smart Health Talk and hopefully becoming smart shoppers, because that's our goal. And another one of our goal is to save lives. And I think going into the new year, one of our new mantras is let me be disease-free. And the reason I say that is we have skyrocketing numbers in cancer, obesity, all different kinds of diseases actually across the board. In new areas like cancer is just increasing to become, I think it's getting close to being like the second highest cause of death. And what's, cancer in our children, of course, is extremely upsetting. But the thing is, we know that things are not good. People can't even have babies anymore. We have infertility problems and expect way more in the future. Dr. Stephanie Seneff said on our show that in 15 years, expect 80% autism rates in our boys. This is one of the things that we've learned here in 2017 on Smart Health Talk, along with many other things. You can find our videos on KCAA, as well as our podcast and iHeartRadio. Just type in Smart Health Talk, and you'll find our podcast right on iHeartRadio, if that's one of your other favorite radio stations. And we have our YouTube channel, which please, we invite you to become our subscriber. We've been working very hard this year with our monarch butterflies, and we have Blue Monarch Project. And if you can remember that, Blue Monarch, because Blue Monarch is actually a non-existent butterfly, just FYI. There is no such thing. There are blue butterflies, but they're not monarchs. And it's actually a non-existent butterfly for a reason, and that's because the blue monarch represents our dream to bring the monarchs back. And the blue monarch represents hope that we can actually achieve this. And the way we do it is by working together. And we use the three most powerful tools/weapons that we have against the injustices to human rights and our rights to have a safe place to live, clean air to breathe, clean water to drink, safe, poison-free food to eat, be able to go and visit our parks and have places that we're actually preserving in our country, not only for us, but for future generations. All of these things, every single one of them is at risk right now. I can't tell you the dire situation. Anyone that lived through like the 60s where we had pollution like you would not believe, we actually, that's the reason we invented the EPA, because pollution was running rampant. When you let corporations police themselves, they will take advantage of it. They take advantage of us. It's actually human nature to do that. So I understand why they do it, but it's up to us to do our role, which is to stop them when they cross the line. And all kinds of lines are being crossed right now. We're going to be going through several of these different things, but I would like to please ask everyone to check out our Blue Monarch project. We're going to be offering plant sales. I'm not sure if we're going to be doing it here at KCAA yet. I hope so, but we'll have other locations around the area for pesticide-free nectar plants and milkweed. And if you've not familiar with monarch butterflies, they actually have superpowers and are pretty freaking awesome butterflies. There's no other butterfly that flies like them. They can fly for extremely long distances and through heavy winds and unbelievable conditions and survive. But neonicotinoid pesticides and other insecticides, pesticides, miticides, you name it, fungicides, will take them down. And neonicotinoids are extremely toxic. And you may go to your home improvement store and go to buy a plant there and see a little tag on there that actually says neonicotinoid pesticides were used. They're coming clean with what they're doing, but when I talked to the corporate office at Home Depot, they said that, you know, we want to change, but we don't have anything to replace it with. So that means they just want to replace it with another pesticide. And I want everyone that if you're a Stater Brothers shopper, I have an announcement about Stater Brothers also that I'm going to be giving, especially if you're buying their apples and bananas. There's a lot of adulteration that's being done in our food. And these people are moving at lightning speed that are using genetics to change our food. And because they know that if they can get it out there and contaminate everything enough, that we won't be able to do anything about it. Now, I have a couple of things to back up what I just said. And I always try to make sure that I can do that with anything I say on our show here, because I don't want to lead you guys down the wrong path or bring you fake news. Heck no. Okay, no fake news here on Smart Health Talk. No way. Okay, a couple things that are happening. Over in India right now, there is a huge push to sell illegal GMO seeds in India. They're not allowed, and yet they're selling them. And these are cotton seeds that they're selling over there. And so what is it doing? It's contaminating all of the other non-GMO seeds. So no one can have a pure crop without GMOs contaminating them. And of course, along with GMOs comes Roundup. Now, I want to tell you, this is actually a strategy that's been repeated multiple times in different forms by big corporations on a global level. Another example is formula. Formula, which is full of GMOs, and if you look at the first ingredient, first 5 ingredients, it's like everyone is GMOs, and like sugar is the first ingredient. It's just ridiculous what we're feeding our children and allowing this to even happen. We should be screaming from the rooftops and using our 3 biggest tools, which is our voice, our dollars and our vote. And we have to use our dollars. We have to vote these people that are making these decisions to allow pesticides that are destroying the brain of our children. And then we also have to start using our dollars and say, we will not allow you to feed us this food, and we're not going to buy it. So if you continue to make it, we're not going to buy it. You know, we could start a whole new system of how our food is brought to us and how we get our food and how the quality of our food. Our health is directly affected by food, and exercise are two of the most deciding factors, along with environment. And guess what? A lot of these we can control ourselves with our own decisions on how we vote, how we spend our dollars. You know, these things are really, really important, and using our voice to tell our representatives what we want and we don't want. And I tell you, this whole GMO thing is becoming serious. Monsanto released GMO seeds before they were even approved by the government. They are so blatantly arrogant that, oh, well, we control the government, so we'll make sure it gets done. You know, and they've been putting all of these people in our government that are actually representing these corporations. I mean, we have Rick Perry in there. That is supposed to be someone with a PhD science degree. And yet we have Rick Perry in there. You know what he has a degree in? Animal husbandry. Okay? He can deliver a calf, really well. But delivering the country what we need, I really don't think so. I mean, I probably have more qualifications than him. I'm not sure how far he went with animal husbandry. I'll have to check that out. So not only is that happening, but, you know, with this whole dicamba and this new kind of GMO, because guess what? Roundup doesn't work anymore. The weeds aren't dying. Instead, we have super weeds. And so this is like so bad, none of the weeds are dying anymore. So they had to stay ahead of it. And so now they came out with dicamba. This is what's happening is we're pulling pesticides that were banned decades ago. We're pulling them back into our system, into our food system, when they were banned in the first place because they were so toxic and cancer causing. But because the weeds won't die anymore, it's okay for us to poison Americans on this level. And we are actually allowing pesticides that have been banned in other ways. We are allowing special circumstances. I tried to tell everyone about a year ago about how bad the nut pesticides are, that they're spraying on the almonds and that almond milk that you're drinking every day. These are so bad that they secretly had to phase them out because they were going to take down our entire environment in 2 years, and you were drinking it every day in your Silk almond milk. Now, we tried to warn you, and if you were regular Smart Health Talk listeners, you may have switched to organic, because this is what we have to do, people. And they're even trying to destroy our organic system. They're trying to weaken it, because here is another example. In just the past week, standards that we set up for organic, where animals have to be treated humanely. Because as a consumer, I absolutely, positively refuse to participate in that factory-farmed, inhumane treatment of animals. And not only am I getting some, tainted meat that could have had a number of things done to it, but that bird was treated in a way that I just don't even want to think about. So how can I bite into that and enjoy it. I can't. I just can't do it anymore. I've seen too much. I know too much. But we all should be thinking about this. And now what has happened with Pruitt is he is now allowing Chinese chicken to be brought into the United States. We didn't allow that before. So all your chicken sandwiches, your fast food, fried chicken, all this stuff was at least raised in America. Then they sent it to China for processing because labor is so cheap there. They would do that, and they turn it to chicken nuggets and get it ready to be Kentucky Fried Chicken or whatever and ship it back to the United States. Well, now they've cut out that whole. They don't have to ship it over to China anymore because Pruitt approved the Chinese chicken. So now they're sending your fast food chicken over directly from China. I wouldn't feel too comfortable about that if I were you. I really, really wouldn't, because they have been known to use way too much arsenic. You may know that's a toxic poison. It actually helps chickens get fat faster, just like antibiotics help them get fat faster. And that's why antibiotics actually make you get fat faster. Not only do antibiotics make you fat, but phytates, fake fragrances, all that Febreze, all that Glade air freshener, all that cheap perfume, all that scented fabric softener and shampoo and body lotion, you know, all of this stuff. I mean, you see people, they've got commercials. I mean, it's friggin' insane. Commercials. Oh, at work. Oh, I gotta smell this Febreze shit, my shirt. I gotta have my Febreze fix. I gotta have my Febreze fix. It's just like, come on, people. I like clothes that smell like fresh, clean air. You know, that's what I like. Fresh smelling clothes, no perfume. I really don't want to smell it, and I don't want to force other people to smell it because people have allergies and sensitivities, and these are actually very strong chemicals that not only make you fat, but mess with your hormones, and that's actually how they make you fat. But messing with your hormones can cause a whole mirage of problems. So my advice to you is over the new year, these are some of the things that you can do that can actually make a difference in your life. And if you listen to what I'm telling you and you follow through with this and you start getting rid of all of these things out of your house, out of your life, all of these cleaning products you don't need. I'll tell you, this is all I buy. I got my Planet dish soap, which is like so freaking awesome. I use it to clean everything. But when I get to the heavy duty stuff, like all that grease on my cabinets and that, Nellie's, they have a laundry soap, they have a dishwasher soap, and they have the OxyClean. But I put the OxyClean in with the dishwasher soap because I have a septic tank and things can get kind of grody. So I'm always like, it like cleans everything, all that stuff out. But for the cat clean in my front of my cabinets, the grout in my bathroom, that OxyClean stuff is a friggin' miracle. And I'm telling you, that's all you need. You cleanse your tub, your tile, your walls, and it doesn't hurt. It doesn't scrub stuff off, even your microwave, the electronic devices. It works on all that. You can just dissolve it in hot water. I use it to disinfect all different kinds of things. So, I mean, that's all you need. I'm telling you, for something to do your windows, you get one of those microfiber cloths, and you use like the Planet dish soap, and then just rinse everything. If it's really bad, you use the OxyClean, and then just rinse it again with the dish soap, and then the microfiber cloth, and you're done. You don't have to breathe pneumonia from Windex and dump all these chemicals into the environment. We're even finding, this is another kind of news flash here, because we got New Year's coming up. We got like the fancy outfits, fancy makeup, glitter, bling, all that coming on. Well, unfortunately, that glitter makeup that you're using is actually full of PET. That's plastic and other, I think it was like aluminum. So the thing is, not only is that not good for you to be absorbing into your body, But when you wash it off, all this stuff goes down the drain. It all ends up, all these pesticides, all this stuff, it's ending up in our ocean, in our riverways. Now, they went and they tested, they're testing the water in Canada, and just major contamination from different pesticides. And, you know, this is a red flag, everyone, because guess what? All of our waterways are also contaminated, and with some of the worst pesticides of all, and other chemicals, because we're using our waterways as a dumping ground. If you listen to Smart Health Talk about 3 weeks ago, we had about how a foreign mining company is up there in Montana mining, taking our resources, not having to pay any royalties, because the United States is the only country like in the world that is not charging royalties. I don't understand this. There are efforts, I need to get those senators on the show to talk about that, to introduce a bill where they'll start collecting this money. And they are asking permission to dump their toxic waste in one of our most pristine rivers in the entire country, that's packed full of this great trout that people come all over to go fish for, because it's one of the few places left. And we're going to let some foreign mining company come and dump their toxic waste from stealing our resources into the river? We're dumping so much stuff. And there's like, you know, all these farmers that are right next to the water, and all of it's coming right from their fields with all these pesticides. And they're spraying pesticides. And speaking of, I wanted to tell you about Stater Brothers, and I did confirm with Roger Schroeder. He is their produce director. He offered me all the information that I wanted. He was perfectly open with me. But I knew from my information from the Department of Agriculture that they were using Smart Fresh Smart Tabs. And they use these, you know, you've heard of ethylene. Ethylene actually is made from like oil. And ethylene they use as a gas to ripen. They do all remember I said they adulterate your food like you would not believe. Let's just kind of start at the seed. They're coating the seed. Those neonicotinoids we talked about earlier, one coated corn seed can kill 360,000 bees. That's one seed. We plant millions. What are we doing? And we're planting all this corn and soy so we can sell it to other countries, you know, as like animal feed. And that's why we're growing it, for animal feed. Where's the diversity of crops? Where is like the wide variety of fresh crops, fresh food? And, you know, the Smart Fresh tabs, the whole purpose is to increase shelf life for like months at a time. I'm telling you, things like vitamin C and other critical nutrients, do you think they're still in that apple? After 10 months, a year, 2 years in controlled storage? They control the temperature, they control the ethylene in the air. They're sending this gas from these smart tabs and into a room with the apples and bananas for sure. There are lots of other things that they actually gas. I want to go to that list because that was like really blowing me away on how many different things that they're actually gassing. I mean, peaches and mangoes and kiwis and melons and just, I got to find out where that page is. Anyway, so we have the start, which the seed is coated with pesticides, and then we have all the pesticides that are used as they're growing. Then we have Roundup sprayed at harvest because they want to kill it. If it's not a GMO, they can kill the whole field. It dries out and dies, and then they go harvest your wheat, your rice, your beans, your barley, all your grains, after it's been sprayed with Roundup. Then they take and treat it with methyl bromide in the silo. Then they take and they can fumigate it again in the warehouse. Then we have grocery stores or other services that there's actually Walmart has 600 ripening facilities across the country where the whole purpose is to ripen your bananas. And because they're sent green from other areas. Now this ethylene, I said, is a gas that's made from petroleum. So that's something else going into your food. And what it does is it goes into the fruit and it's triggering this ripening process. So it's forcing the fruit to ripen. Now, the fresh tabs do just the opposite. They actually take up the ethylene receptor so that the fruit doesn't ripen because they don't want the apples to ripen faster, or they don't want bananas that have already been ripening. They want to stop them from ripening so fast. So, but you see what I mean? It's like, what are you doing? And the same gas that I told you about that like slows the ripening down, they actually are putting these in the orchards now. Apparently this has been going on, but we are not aware of it as customers because they don't tell us, right? There's no sign up in Stater Brothers saying, oh yeah, we gas these with Smart Fresh Smart Tabs, by the way. Just a little extra chemical added to your food. Oh, it's taking up all those ethylene receptors within your fruit with this chemical that you will then eat. I'm sorry. I'm not buying it. I'm not buying the concept, and I'm not buying the food. No friggin' way. Not going in this body because I patrol what goes in my body. And I have high standards. And you should too. Because that's your body. And there's no one else out there to take care of it better than you. And you need to take responsibility. All of us need to take responsibility. The fact that we don't have a diversity of fresh food to eat, the fact that our food is poisoned, our rivers are poisoned, our air is not fit to breathe, we could prevent all of these things. And things were in place that were taking us down that road. But now it's all being reversed because of our votes, because of who we voted in. That is their choice to do. And they're going to take away a whole heck of a lot more. Just wait. You think that they were going to make healthcare better? No, they're going to take it away. And to me, I'm sorry, in my book, murder. You are killing Americans. You know what you're doing. I just found out about a new candidate that after her daughter, who was fairly young to have heart disease, went to the doctor to have herself checked out because she knew something wasn't right. And because she was young, they said, oh, and this is the insurance companies that like to think they're God, okay, because they get to decide if people live or die. Right? This won't happen if we get rid of the insurance companies and just go with Medicare. And I tell you, if people are listening to this right now and they're like, I'm not paying for the poor people to have health care out of my paycheck. I'm not working for them to have free stuff. And I hear this. I hear these comments. Guess what? It's not costing you anything. It would not cost you anything. As a matter of fact, what you should be focusing on is the fact that your health care costs are going to be going way down. And long term, they're not going to be going way up because we're going to control costs with that kind of system, which, by the way, it's like All the other top countries in the world have universal health care. We're the only ones that don't. And all of our health care costs more than any of theirs. We spend way more on health care, and we have way worse results. We have the highest infant mortality. I was just reading about how all these women are dying in childbirth. The stats are incredible. What is happening to our women trying to have babies? And the thing is, then we're forcing them to have babies against their will. I watched one really good documentary on Freakonomics that explains public health. This is what we study. We study how to improve public health, how to prevent problems, what is causing these problems so we can prevent it. We go and research and try to implement programs that prevent things from happening so we don't have to spend all of this money. I mean, the amount of money we are spending on diabetes and cancer. I mean, the numbers on what we are going to, it's like something like $200 billion a year just for cancer. If we put that money into prevention, we would be saving lives. Not only that, but we leave families without the caregiver, without the provider, without the father, without the mother with this cancer. I mean, it ruins families with these health issues. And we have people with mental problems that are on disability. How many people are on disability? Our system cannot support this. And the core of it is problems with health care. Now, you're probably, gosh, Elaine, how dare you, say we're forcing women, to have babies or whatever. I'm sure there's lots of people out there that disagree with what I'm saying. But you know what? This is not my opinion that I am talking about here. I am talking about numbers. Numbers that our top scientists looked at, and the numbers do not lie. Okay? The numbers tell us that when we have someone like Giuliani saying, oh, because of me, because of the things I did, we have crime rates down. No, it was actually a combination of many other things, gun laws and other things that were implemented. But then there was a big chunk that we're trying to figure out, what the heck? Well, it turned out that when we force poor, destitute women with no money, living in the projects, no hope, maybe a drug addict, when we force them to have a baby, that unwanted baby gets no education, ends up joining a gang, and gets involved in crime. So when we allow women the freedom to choose whether they want to have a child or not, and make it available to them, crime goes down. And they actually saw where the crime went down in different areas. Now, last week, we had about the monarch butterflies. And the Butterfly Institute down in Texas, the National Butterfly Institute down there. I'm trying to think if it's institute or if it's another saying, but it was the National Butterfly Center, excuse me. And they're down there in Mission, Texas, over by Santa Fe. And, of course, the Rio Grande River, and their property goes right up to the river. And the government is already on their property without their permission, taking trees down and clearing the area for the wall. Okay? And this is a wall that it seems to me that Trump told us that Mexico is going to pay for. So it looks like taxpayers are going to pay something like $200 billion. Do you have that link ready? The link that I told you?
Yeah, I do.
Okay. I want you to listen to this 5-minute video by a really great show that if you tune in right now to KCAA, you'll be able to tell everything. What does it say that the program was right there it was from?
It's, I believe it's from Adam Ruins Everything.
Yeah,
it's from Adam Ruins Everything.
Yeah, have you ever watched that?
Yeah.
Is it a pretty good show?
Yeah, it's a pretty good show.
Yeah, it's just informative. They're just like telling us things in a way. Now, this is explaining about the wall, because I had people leaving comments that we need the wall to keep America safe. And I say, where's your proof? I want to see proof that a wall actually helps keep us safe, and that also that we need the wall. We need to be asking for proof, everyone. Our government should not be spending money on things that we have no proof, and they're not even reporting back to us. You know, they gave $20 billion for Zika virus, and they created some GMO mosquito that they're releasing, and that was our $20 billion taxpayer dollars. Have we been well informed about these mosquitoes? Were we asked permission if we are okay for GMO mosquitoes to be released in our cities with no long-term testing and no safety testing or anything? No. They're doing all this stuff behind our back. And over in Santa Fe, when they built the levee, they took a bunch of land, just took it. No eminent domain, no telling the property owner, no proper procedures, nothing. They are just taking land without anything, doing anything that they are supposed to do. That is why there are 90 lawsuits right now, just because of the levee, and they're going to do the same thing with this wall. So please think about it as you listen to this video. Go ahead.
Illegal immigration is out of control. Our borders are unprotected. We need to build the wall.
Ay, Dios mío, Gaby. Eso me asusta.
Pero abuela tiene razón. Hay tanta gente ilegal aquí y destruyen a nuestra economía. Una pared pondría fin a la inmigración ilegal.
Oh, no, eso es súper incorrecto. La verdad es que la pared no lograría nada. Building a wall would actually increase the number of illegal immigrants in America.
What? How could it possibly?
Here, I'll show you. Just building the wall would be practically impossible. This is where it would be.
Oh, no, el perrito.
It would have to stretch over 2,000 miles of rough terrain, cutting through mountains, rivers, villages, and even people's homes.
Disculpe, ¿puedo usar su baño?
Ay, lo siento. Está en México.
And all that destruction is monstrously expensive. Just building the wall would cost between $15 and $25 billion.
Ay, el duende tiene magia demónica.
It would easily be one of the single most expensive pieces of infrastructure in American history, costing as much as 20 Hoover dams or NASA's entire annual budget.
That's one small step for man. One giant wall for no reason.
Not to mention the astronomical cost of staffing and maintaining the wall, which taxpayers like you and your children will be stuck paying forever.
I paid for the wall. My father's father paid for the wall. And one day you will pay for the wall. Because this is Wall World.
Even just faking the wall for our show was prohibitively expensive. Looks like our CGI budget ran out. Oh.
Okay, yes, it may be expensive, but that doesn't change the fact that once we build it, it will work.
Not like you think. Increasing security at the border will never stop illegal immigration.
Why not? No one's getting past me.
Yes, they are, because it's estimated that between 27 and 40% of all undocumented immigrants in America came here on planes.
I forgot about planes.
These immigrants didn't sneak over the border. They came here legally, through passport control, then just overstayed their visas. And guess what? A border wall's not gonna stop them because, reminder, planes can fly over walls!
You fools! You forgot about planes! We always forget about planes!
Even by your estimate of visa overstays, the wall would still stop about half of America's 11 million illegal immigrants.
No, it wouldn't, because of a little something called circular flow. Here, I'll show you. For decades, immigration to the U.S. was a circular flow. People would come, work for a bit, and then after they were done, go home to their families. Meet Douglas Massey.
Thanks, Adam. My arms are getting pretty tired waiting for my cue.
He's a professor at Princeton and a pioneering researcher on this topic.
When the Reagan, Bush, and Clinton administrations drastically increased border enforcement in response to public opinion, they stopped that circular flow.
Not by keeping people out, but by keeping people in.
As it got harder and harder to go back and forth, people crossing the border decided they were much better off just staying in the U.S.
Se me olvidaron las llaves en México. If I go back to Mexico now, he won't let me back in the U.S. I guess I'll just stay here, in Tucson.
Ironically, this increase in border enforcement caused the number of undocumented immigrants living in the United States to skyrocket by 248%.
It's counterintuitive, but building a wall wouldn't stop people from coming in. It would actually stop them from going back.
In fact, the whole idea of building a border wall is misguided. The Mexican economy is doing quite well right now, and population growth has slowed way down, so there's not much pressure to immigrate. The number of illegal border crossings is actually at an all-time low.
If you're a professor, then why are you in the desert?
I'm not. I'm a mirage.
Ay, el duende tiene un amigo fantasma.
Look, we already have what has to be the most militarized border between any two nations at peace. So the real issue of immigration isn't the people coming in. The fact is, they're already here. Nearly 1 out of every 30 people in America is an unauthorized immigrant. The only thing a wall stops is a discussion of actual solutions.
Oh my God, Adam, you're right. The wall isn't the answer.
Oh, good. I'm so glad I could help.
Millions of people are already here. We need to deport them. Yes, deportation is the answer.
No.
En realidad, eso nunca funciona.
Alfonso.
Cuando regresemos te explicaré por qué la deportación no es ninguna solución. En Alfonso explica todo.
Okay, everyone. That was just a little piece on the border wall with some of our top scientific experts in there. I thought it was actually kind of a fun way to learn about it because I know some people have some very strong opinions. But if we look at history, we'll see that walls really don't work. Did the Berlin Wall work? Did the China Wall work? The Great Wall of China? No, it didn't work. And actually, they tore it down. And that's just what's going to happen to this wall. And like they mentioned, maintaining the wall, have we even factored into that? What are we giving up for that wall that we could be spending that money on instead that could actually benefit our country? One of the things I find very scary is this whole computer hacking. If they can hack into what some of the things that they've already hacked into, Asperian, where they stole half of our country's identity, if they can do that, what about a nuclear power plant? What about an electrical grid? What about NORAD, where nuclear weapons are stored? These are very serious threats. Our ports, what is coming in and out of our ports. There are things being brought in on ships. They could bring a nuclear weapon in on a ship. So, I mean, there's just, like they said, the wall is actually keeping us from discussing the whole scope of the problem of national security. And by the way, obesity is actually a threat to our national security as well, because the young people are too fat to join the military anymore. They can't pass a physical. All of these things are actually, to me, GMOs and contamination of our food, people not being able to have babies anymore. All of these things are also important. What's happening to our children and their health. We're going to spend the money, and we're not going to put it into infrastructure, improving infrastructure in our country, cleaning up our water, finding solutions to what we're doing here with all this pollution. So I'm just asking people to please do your research. You cannot trust things at face value. If someone says, if the government tells us anything, we're going to spend money on this, say, I want to see proof of why that is a good reason to spend our money that way. And we need to start using, again, our voice, our dollars, and our vote. And we need candidates. We need candidates out there that are willing to lead our country and represent the people that have not been there for decades and decades or in the pocket of these big corporations. I mean, I even hear like Feinstein, you know, like, oh, she's like universal health care. I don't know. You know, I take in so much money from the insurance companies. You know, it's just like we're all sick of this stuff. You know, we need some new blood that's willing to get out there and really fight and has ethics and morals. And we have to decide as a country who we are, what principles are we standing for? Because I would like to know, if we ask, you know, the average person on the street, what does our country stand for anymore? We have all this talk about making America great, but really, how are we making America great? By making it easier for big corporations to pollute? By taking away the safety precautions? By making organic chickens and animals be treated inhumanely? Because we just have to do that with every single bit of meat that we sell and eat, right? It all has to be inhumane. And they weaken just a month and a half before that. They weaken organic standards by allowing hydroponic products to be considered USDA organic, which is a soil-based system. It is not a water-based system, and they can sneak pesticides and chemicals in those lines, and no one can trace it. There is no accountability. This is the reason that people fought for years and years to get us an organic program to begin with, because they were doing the same thing back then, chemicalizing our food system. We are using so many pesticides right now. It is just mind-blowing. And again, I told you, we're even allowing pesticides that we banned. And nuts was one of them. And they come and say, oh, we have some special circumstance where we have a special infestation of a certain bug or something like that. We need to be allowed to use those cancer-causing pesticides to deal with this. When we have an agricultural system that is built on being a dependency on these pesticides to function, and these nitrogen-based fertilizers that come from fracking. So conventional produce equals fracking. Are you for fracking? Do you think fracking is a good thing for us? We can all be completely independent. We could all be completely off the grid. We don't even need SCE anymore. We could be we won't even have to be dependent on all these things. We could be generating our own electricity. But they want to make it so if we do that, we still have to pay them, where we're not going to be able to make any money off that. They're trying to raise money on solar panels. They want to do all these things to discourage us from moving forward with green energy. So what do we do? What are you going to do? Are we all going to take ownership of what's going on in our country right now and start taking responsibility on what we can do, every single one of us? And let me tell you, the buying power of the American people is extremely powerful. And when you start saying, I'm not going to buy that poisoned food, and even though our organic system is flawed, we're going to improve it. Rodale Institute is working on a regenerative organic certification that will be a true organic product, and we can start showing with our dollars that that is the system that we promote. These people are going to keep trying to allow corporations to take over something that we created so that we can get away from corporations and start handing it over to them, like the Organic Trade Association did as well. Then we respond. We respond and say, You think you guys are going to pull the wool over our eyes, that you're going to force us to eat this crap food, that you're going to force our children to eat crap food? And trust me, I've been to those big school food service shows, and I know what they're serving to our kids. I went to Fontana High School for 5 years when I worked for San Bernardino County Public Health Nutrition Department, trying to get junk food and sodas. So I really studied what food was being sold there. And that food was so disgusting. This is like the food that can't even like pass to be like USDA choice or the good quality. That's what commodities are that they give to schools. It is a dumping ground for the food industry to dump all their crap food that they can't sell anyone else, and they're going to feed it to our kids at school. Oh, but, so what? Let's just feed them all the junkiest stuff. Let's not set up guidelines to make sure our kids are actually getting nutritious food at school and not just a bunch of fast processed food that goes from the freezer into some sort of oven to warm it up. And actually, school districts were totally getting into this, and they're doing a lot of stuff on their own. But there are school districts out there, again, like other corporations, they're just out to do the cheapest stuff. They're not there thinking that, oh, we're the nutrition department. We're supposed to be teaching kids good nutrition by feeding them the kind of foods that even if they don't get them at home, they can learn at school that these are good, healthy foods to eat. And maybe that will carry on to when they become adults. Maybe that will keep them from becoming an obese child, where 84% of obese children end up being an obese adult. Is that what we want to do to our children? Sentence them to a life of obesity and all of the diseases that come along with it. If you go to our Smart Health Talk website, you'll find all kinds of resources under our resource tab, including our 10 Smart Health Talk resolutions. I think there's a link on our homepage as well. If you want to change your life, if you want to start losing weight, start feeling healthier, start having more energy, start having skin that glows instead of looks dull and old, all of these things are reflective in your lifestyle. We have our 10 Smart Health Talk resolutions, have all kinds of suggestions on little changes that you can make, and you just work on these little changes, and next thing you know, your whole lifestyle has changed, and you're feeling better, and you're actually enjoying life. You're not in pain. This is what we want for you. We have top scientists providing us the information that we need. Don't trust what you're hearing in a commercial and follow it like some little robot. Start questioning everything and start taking action, calling your representatives, telling them what you want, and using those dollars to buy the food that's going to keep your family and yourself healthy, because they need you. You have to stay healthy too. You have to take care of everyone. Take care of yourself too, okay? And please, don't forget us at Smart Health Talk over here. We're on every Tuesday at 4 o'clock. We're right here for you. Ever have any questions, Elaine at smarthealthtalk.com. Please feel free to reach out to me. And go check out our Blue Monarch project. And please be a part of it. And let us know if you would like to get some plants. We're on the Nextdoor app as well. And we're hoping that you'd be interested in planting some nectar plants and milkweed for our monarchs. We're going to start bringing those to you. So Elaine at smarthealthtalk.com or info at bluemonarchproject.com. And thanks so much for tuning in to KCAA and Smart Health Talk. And I hope you're going to make this next year an organic year. You're going to go to farmers markets, go to eatlocalgrown.com, find local farmers in your area and farmers markets. Start buying direct from local families and support those families. And you're going to get the freshest food that way as well. And that's where the true nutrition is and the true life force for helping to prevent disease. That's what we need to be eating. So, all right, take care. I'm your dietitian, your own personal dietitian, Elaine McFadden. Happy New Year, everybody.
KCAA Loma Linda, 1050 AM, 106.5 FM, and now 102.3 FM.
I'm Stephanie Shelton, CNBC. No Santa Claus rally in sight today with most of Wall Street on vacation. The Dow fell 7 points, NASDAQ down 23, the S&P 500 losing 2. Apple, the biggest decliner, down 2.5% after reportedly dropping its iPhone X sales forecast. Kohl's and other retailers were the biggest gainers on the best holiday season since 2011, according to MasterCard. Stitch Fix shares jumped 18%. The online clothing subscription company closed just under the all-time high it hit earlier, bouncing back from its disappointing first earnings report as a public company. Uber reportedly selling its U.S. subprime auto leasing business to startup car marketplace Fair.com. That ends Uber's efforts to attract new car-less drivers. And 3 months now since Hurricane Maria devastated Puerto Rico, the Army Corps of Engineers says some people may not have power till May.
This is Michael David from Seattle. I'm 51 years old, and 6 months ago, I started taking Andro 400 to increase my testosterone. Since then, I've lost 35 pounds of fat, and my waist went from size 38 to size 32. I have more energy, and I look and feel 20 years younger. And now my wife tells me I have to take Andro 400.
Hi, this is Ron Johnson from Utah. After 10 weeks of taking Andro 400, I lost 13 pounds, and my waist went from 36 to 33. That was 8 years ago.
When you book your holiday travel with Priceline, you can save up to $300 on your flight. With savings like that, you'll have extra money to spend on better gifts for your nieces and nephews.
Look, Mom! Uncle Bill got us a drum set! Yeah!
That's the sound of being a caring and generous gift giver. And when you've had enough of that gift, you can also save up to 60% on hotels for the deals you won't find anywhere else. Go to Priceline.
Express deals are different. Exact airline or hotel show.
NBC News Radio, I'm Brian Shook. President Trump is busy on Twitter while he spends the holidays in Florida. Tom Roberts talks about what he's been up to.
Trump tweeted a Tuesday segment from Fox and Friends that claimed the so-called Russian dossier on the president is bogus. He then added that the Clinton campaign and DNC funded dossier. FBI cannot, after all of this time, verify claims in dossier of Russia-Trump collusion. FBI tainted. He closed tweeting that they used this crooked Hillary pile of garbage as the basis for going after the Trump campaign. Tom Roberts, NBC News Radio.
Election officials in Virginia are considering a request to delay Wednesday's scheduled drawing to decide a seat in the House of Delegates. Democrat Shelley Simons asked for the last-minute delay to allow time for further review of the tied ballot in her race against Republican David Yancey. The State Board of Elections is set to meet in Richmond tomorrow morning to hold a random drawing to break the tie. Big Apple's strap hangers are being impacted by major service changes. Many riders were caught off guard when they went into effect this morning.
It's a surprise, and then we had no idea about it, no any inform, and then nothing about it, so we didn't know.
Service on the M line is suspended except for shuttle trains, and E trains are running on the F line from Jackson Heights, Roosevelt Avenue to West 4th Street. It's all part of an ambitious MTA overhaul of the 53rd Street East River Tunnel. Several cities are suing the Defense Department over a gun loophole that allowed the Texas church shooter to buy his guns. San Francisco, New York City, and Philadelphia filed a lawsuit alleging that the DOD had failed many times to advise the FBI about former servicemen who are prohibited from buying firearms. The lawsuit says the DOD's failure to report servicemen convicted of crimes while in the military or dishonorably discharged has led to tragedies such as the November 5th shooting in Sutherland Springs, Texas, carried out by a dishonorably discharged Air Force member. You're listening to the latest from NBC News Radio.
So, you want to be in show business. Do people tell you that you're really funny, you have a great personality, and you should have your own talk show? Many of us have been told that, but we don't know how to get started. It's easier than you think. Let the pros at Cali Vegas give you a free talent evaluation. Call 949-445-1119 and learn how quickly you can create, produce, and host your very own talk show. Imagine not having to sit in traffic every day, commuting back and forth to the same old boring job. Get started in television or radio today with your free talent evaluation from Cali Vegas. Call 949-445-1119 or visit them online at calivegas.com. Make your dream come true today and create your new career and learn how to become a television or radio star with the help of Cali Vegas. 949-445-1119. Call now.